Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Author Spotlight, where I'm your host, your main man, Darren M. Palmer, and I'm excited to talk to you because on this show, we go behind the scenes with best-selling authors, those who are doing their thing. They are planet shakers. They are change agents. They are KPIs, key people of influence. And I have
Yeah.
an influencer today experiencing a wonderful day. So we're doing it different. I told you we behind the scenes. I was able to catch him at a wonderful park area. He got great scenery. My man, Zoe Brown. Before I bring Zoe on, I just got to share a little bit about Zoe Brown. He specializes in character and leadership development and is the founder of coaching and consulting agency Zoe Brown Speaks. Brown's calling is to help people navigate their purpose-filled journey to success. Brown has coached artists, authors, managers, motivational speakers, professionals, and entrepreneurs. I just wanted to say a little bit about Zoe, and I want him to come in his own way because I did leave some gaps in there intentionally so he can share more about him. Zoe, welcome to the show, man, and please fill in any of the gaps that I left out in your bio.
No, the bio's good. I mean, it's just the bio. The life story, that's another thing. But the bio was good. Thank you for honoring me with that. I appreciate it, brother. So glad to
No
be on
doubt.
this show.
No doubt, man. I thank you for having us on, Zoe. So I just want to share with everyone about Zoe Brown. He is the author of From No to Go. So Zoe, just
Right.
share a little bit about that book, man. You know, why this book with your background, with your education? This brother has so much talent. He can do anything from Broadway. He can do athletics. I mean, so just with your experience and how how talented that you are. You like a modern day Renaissance man. So just explain to us, why did you go with this particular piece for your first book?
Well, with this particular piece, I really wanted it to be a story, and I really wanted it to help people who were navigating their own journey to success. And understanding that success is going to mean something different for everyone. And, I speak to I'm a professor as well. And I speak to a lot of students who have no idea where they're going in life. They're in school, but they don't know what they want to do. I remember being there and, having ideas of what I wanted to do, but just kind of being confused and feeling like I did have talents and intelligence, but I didn't have a clear map set out before me. I have friends who went to med school, and that's straight up. You going to med school to become a doctor. People who wanted to become lawyers, they went to law school. They have certain career paths that are laid out for people. And usually some of these career paths come with, a handsome salary, if you will. And my career path wasn't so much. I felt like I wanted to be a businessman, but I had different interests. Like I sing, I write poetry, and I also love helping people too. I'm a social worker by profession, and I say I've been doing that honestly since I was 15 years old. I started working at a summer camp, working with kids, and I knew in some capacity I wanted to help people. And the profession of a social worker really didn't seem that glamorous or successful to me, so I kind of like tried to go after some other goals. Get in the business world and working in finance, and those people are great, but when I kind of experienced some of those things, I just knew that it wasn't for me. I knew I wanted to help people who were disenfranchised, help people who didn't quite fit in, with society, who didn't fit in these specific roles that society has laid out for people. And that was just my calling. And unfortunately, a lot of us, especially social workers, we're told you're not going to make any money, right? You're going to be broke. And I have my students telling me that as well. They tell me that the other professors, tell them that choosing this profession, it's really noble, it's really nice, but you're not going to make any money. And that's very discouraging, because we all know that in this society that we live in, money is a tool that's used to acquire needs and goods and services, right? I've also learned that money necessarily isn't everything, right? For some people feel very successful and do live, on lower incomes. And success is something defined different from them as well. So this was just a book just to speak to people who are navigating their own journey to success.
I love that. And I thank you, Mr. Brown, for sharing with us the importance of defining your own success. And so for
Yep.
those of you out there who are listening to this, I want you to make sure that you pay attention to what Mr. Joe Brown shared with us. I
Mm-hmm.
think that so many of us are trying to keep up with the Kardashians,
Mm-hmm.
that we miss out on what is our truth, what
Right.
is success to us. That might be a young lady who chooses to step outside the corporate arena, that she has a promising career because she's saying that I want to focus more on at home. That to her
Right.
might be that success to her, where someone else might say, you know what, I've did home long enough, and I want to go into a different arena and try my hand at this new recipe or this new idea that I have for a new app or whatever it may be for you.
Absolutely.
And so, I just thank you, because that was a great takeaway that I took out of there right there. So was the importance of knowing what success, because even if you're goal oriented, but your goals aren't tailored for you
Right.
as an individual, you can find yourself still not living life or not fulfilling or feeling a purpose, because the only thing
Absolutely.
about it is you're doing what all these gurus are telling you. You're doing what they're telling you at the seminar, but the only
Mm-hmm.
thing that you hadn't checked on was the box that had to be for you, not for that other person. So do you
Absolutely.
some truth what I'm saying, Zoe, on my own point, what you were sharing with us?
Oh, you're absolutely on point. And I even dare to say that success for some people um, is just being like a good parent. I know women who are stay-at-home mothers, and I think society, it's one thing if you're a stay-at-home mother and you have other dreams that you want to go for, by all means do that. But for some people, fathers and mothers and parents, their success is creating a great home and a great family environment for their children and for their other family members. And if they can do that, they feel successful. And who am I to tell them that that's not success, that you should be out doing all these other things that you probably really don't want to do, right? So I think everybody needs to, you said something that was key, kind of realize their own truth and what that means for them. This society is very influential, of course, and we're shaped by our society and our environment. And, I'm a sociologist as well, as a professor. And I know that in systems where they have capitalism and a lot of the competition of these goals that we're exposed to could drive some people to suicide, right? So I think everybody should be honest with themselves as far as what success is for them and define that and just embrace the journey.
I love that. I love what you brought up about the embracing the journey. And speaking of journey, Mr. Brown, please share with our audience, what made you believe that you could write a book when so many had failed at the task? You might just, I don't know what it is, but it's quite a bit of people that, you're hearing them. Some people go to the grave with that idea.
Right.
And so what made you believe that you could write the book when so many had failed at the task?
Well, I have a lot of people in my life that at times seem like to believe in me more than I believe in myself, right? Um, I realized I had like a sense of intelligence as a child, because of grades and different things of that nature. So I knew I had the ability to do it, but you can have the ability to do it, but still don't follow through. So I think follow through is the key to this. And I really believe that I aligned myself with the right people. Some are family, some are friends, some are new people that I've met along the way that I've networked with, you being one of them. And having these people in your life is so key to success. Whatever journey of success you're going toward, I think that's key. And I would have people literally tell me not only that I could do it or that I should do it, but I've even had strangers walk up to me on the street and prophesy and say that I would do it. People who don't even know me, spiritual people that's seeing greatness in me, not having any idea of who I was or what I was doing or what I was working on, but telling me you're going to be great. You're going to touch a lot of people with your word and with your message. And these people have no idea who I am. So I think that's key, just aligning myself with the right people. And, even with God too, right? sending strangers to connect to you and literally come up to me and tell me, you're meant to do this, you're called to do this, you're going to do this, you will do it. So yeah, I mean, those people, it's just can't go nowhere without them. You need the right ones. You definitely need the right ones. So I think that's big. I think we probably believe in our own abilities, but for whatever reason, a lot of us don't follow through with these tasks. So I need people in my life say, Zoe, what's up with the book? What's going on? And that helps me. It helps me a lot.
You know what, Zoe? I'm thinking about this. And for those who are tuning in, who's your network? Who are you surrounded around? Are you in an environment that's conducive for your growth, growing in the right way? Are you in a positive environment? Are you around those that see more in you than what you see in yourself? Or are you in an environment where the people are putting you down and telling you that you're less than or devaluing you? This is some things that we have to personally look at and and self-assess, and see, okay, who am I with? Because this is something that I'm seeing trending in these different interviews that I'm doing, is those who are being successful. It's not that they have a genius above everybody else. It's not that they just magically somebody gave them something, but they were given, or they did align themselves in the right environments that allow for them to flourish and allow for them to grow, by someone giving sunshine on them, by that they didn't have, by someone nurturing them, and someone quenching their thirst for their purpose, and saying, you know what, have you ever thought about so and so and so? I've seen this in you. So you have to understand that everything doesn't just come from you, that it might be some wisdom imparted or put on you from someone else about something in the direction you need to go that you was totally unaware of. So having the right people around you who aren't so consumed with themselves that they're able to say, you know what, Zoe, I think you're very intelligent. I think you're doing a lot. You got a heart for people. This is another way for you to go to another step. And having people who don't mind to get in front of you and just say, like, hey, you might be upset about this. I'm sorry, but I think you're great. So you might not want to do it. It might be uncomfortable for you. You might not have the time or the finances, but I'm just telling you, this is what I see for you. Yeah. Kind of guy. And okay with that. Instead of saying, I'm not going to say anything to him. I don't want him to be upset. I don't want him to push him out. He just can just stay right here. You have to have people that are around you who are able to help push you in the right direction so you can fulfill your potential.
Yeah. I don't want to say that I was necessarily around people who would say negative things to me. I think they just had no idea what the possibilities were for themselves, right? So I had to purposefully and intentionally put myself in a network of people who were doing something else, right? I was working a 9-to-5 job, which I'm thankful for. I learned a lot of my skills there. That's actually where I gained the confidence to know that I do have the ability to do something greater than something different. But I started going to networking events a few years ago. And sorry, I have my dog with me. I'm just making sure he doesn't run off. I started going to networking events a few years ago and just meeting people who are entrepreneurs and had different business ideas. And it turned me on, like the light bulb started to go off. I'm like, wait a second, this is a good crowd to be with. So I started seeking out networking events to go to. Initially, I want to say one of my friends that was in my circle, she was like the first one of us to become an entrepreneur. She started her own cheesecake business, and I was just so happy for her. I was just so proud of her, that she did that. And I would help her out with the business. I would help her sell the cheesecake, help her make it. Sometimes she would be able to pay me. Sometimes she wouldn't. But this was somebody that I was directly connected to that was an entrepreneur. And she started introducing me to networking events because I would work with her at networking events. And I just said, I want to do this one day. But first, before I did it, I knew I had to be in the company of other like-minded people. There was also a period where things were kind of lonely because like my closest friends weren't really there. So when I was coming up with a lot of my ideas, I did spend a lot of time alone writing ideas, jotting down ideas, you know, and it was just kind of unheard of for my circle. You know, it's like, you know, man, you ain't in school no more, but that's kind of how I was acting. I would go to Starbucks and, you know, get my laptop and just start writing down ideas about different things that I wanted to do. So if you're not in an environment where you need to be, there's so many opportunities to put yourself in that environment. You know, with technology online, they have things like meetup.com. You can literally look for people who are like-minded, you know, who have similar interests, and you'll spend time with them. And so that's key. If you're not around it, if you're not in the right environment, you got to seek it out. You know, even if it's online, you know, but there's something in your area. You just gotta find it. You gotta seek it out and make sure you get around those people. I remember reading this book by Napoleon Hill. Just saying, a mastermind and connecting to like-minded others is just key. You know, what's that saying? You're like the five people that you spend time with, the most time with. And I knew at that time I wouldn't be going anywhere beyond where I was, right? So it wasn't a decision to cut those people off, because I know we hear, oh, you got to cut off everybody who's negative and blah, 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 blah. And I said, you know what, it's more like rearranging people. Because some of these people that aren't going anywhere might be your parents and your family and your siblings and your children and your cousins, right? And I ain't going to tell you to cut your family off, right? But it's rearranging the people and bringing some new people in your life that really speak to your calling, and, you know, those people that can be excited about what it is that you want to do. Because initially, if people's minds aren't there, certain things that you talk about don't even make sense to them. It's like, oh, okay, like, I don't get it. So you got to spend time with people that get you. And if you're not around them, you got to seek them out.
And I love that. And, you know, and you're talking about seeking out. And I totally agree with that. How we was able to connect was at an event. And was able to connect, from there. But I just think we wouldn't even be here, for this interview if we weren't seekers of getting better, finding our own truth, connecting with other like-minded people. And so we're even here right now because of that. So that shows true with that. But when you're talking about seeking out, how do you seek out time with your busy schedule, man? I mean, this guy is not just a professor or whatnot, man. He's not just a business owner. He's not just, contributing to his community. You heard he was helping out doing cheesecake. It's not like he doesn't have anything to do. I mean, this guy has a schedule. You see what I'm saying? And I mean, he's strategic with his schedule. He doesn't allow certain things to come in because he wants to continue to be productive. But at the same time, it's not like this is a person that's laying around on the couch with nothing to do, eating Cheetos.
Right.
This guy, he has several courses. He got courses that he's teaching, different schools. He got things lined up with his business, all that. And he has a social life as well. So give us the hack, Zoe. Give us a secret. How do you create content, man, with all the stuff that you have going on?
Well, so I have this principle that I created called the PCB principle. And it means plug in, create, and brand. So it's really about being plugged into the right systems. I would even say my full-time job that I worked for Child Protective Services here in New Jersey for 12 years in the social work field. And that just exposed me to so much. And the majority of that time I was doing professional development and staff training. And I saw my abilities. I saw what I was capable of doing. You mentioned presentation power with Jonathan Sprinkles. I met you, and that's when things really opened up for me. I said, you know what? There's people who are doing this for a living, and I found out that, like, my time was more valuable than the money I was getting. My job, paid me pretty well, but I didn't even appreciate it. I needed more is time, right? And I had to go through a period of me being broke to really appreciate time. But it's really about what you do with time. You say, how do you find time to create content? It's just there, meaning, like, you got to trade it for something else that you're doing that's taking up your time. Most of the content that I created was when I had a 9-to-5 job, and that job wasn't just 9 to 5. It was also, sometimes I had to work on Saturdays, and sometimes I had to work at nights. And I would just make the time. Like I said, I would separate from hanging out with my friends, or just, you get off at 5, right? You get home about 6. Instead of chilling out, whatever I was doing from 6 to when I went to bed, you know, I don't even know what I was doing, but I knew I had to do something else with that time. And so I just spent that time hanging out at Starbucks with my laptop, just writing down things that like I would do, you know, like what would you talk about? You know, that was the thing about presentation power. They was trying to really craft your niche, right? And I just had to spend a lot of time, you know, so I think we all have it. It just means what are we doing with that time? You know, I was obviously doing something else. You know, I had my financial advisor, he said, oh, so when you gonna start a business? And I said, start a business? I got this full-time job. He said, full-time job? He said, you lazy. I said, lazy? You know, and I didn't think I was lazy, but then it made me think about it. I said, maybe I am, right? You know, maybe I can make the time. And it really is not making the time. It's about rearranging things. The time is there. It's going to keep going. And once it's gone, it's over and done with, right? So it's really about rearranging certain activities in your life so you can make the time for the things that you need to do. And so sometimes you got to sacrifice certain things that like you want to do, like hang around and hang out and stuff like that.
Man, I want y'all to pay attention to that. Rearranging time. How can you rearrange time? How can you rearrange what you have going on? What is your perspective on time? Because if you start looking at it and count it up, is this really nothing against it, but they're already getting paid millions.
Right.
So if you reduce it to just one half, I'm not saying miss the whole game, but if you can reduce just one half of the NBA finals, or just say, I'm just going to watch one whole game.
Right.
Every single game, every night, where you're not doing anything productive for your brand, your company. If
right.
You're someone, you're an entrepreneur or whatever it may be, or entrepreneur, whatever it may be for you, or family time, how can you rearrange that time to allow for you to be productive, allow for you to have a success and still benefit from some of the things that you want to benefit from by rearranging time? I think that's imperative of understanding the power of time and how to utilize it, and not deceive yourself into believing that just because you are busy that you are productive.
Right. Right.
Two different things.
Absolutely. And then I think I want to kind of correct that, because it's like time is there. You know, we like to manipulate it. We think we can manipulate it by doing like daylight savings time and stuff like that. But time just is what it is. It's really about rearranging your activities that you do during certain times. Right. And also maximizing too. Now, I know sometimes with me, I have to maximize my activities when I'm in the right state of mind, because I can be really moody, right? And if I'm moody, or if I feel like I'm like depressed, you know, like for some reason, it'll be harder for me to get work done because I just don't feel like doing it, right? So I have to maximize my time when I am, you know, in a good mood, when I am more upbeat. Sometimes, like, you know, I think a lot of people can struggle with procrastination, but I know that if I have certain deadlines help too. That's another thing. Have deadlines, because when you have a deadline, you know that it's going to be due at this certain date. And so for me, deadlines definitely help, and I just get it done. You know, I might have to sacrifice sleep. Hey, you'll get it again. So you might have to sacrifice sleep at some time, and not just sacrificing other activities, right? You know, maybe other activities, spending time with certain people. But like I said, the time is there. It's really more about rearranging the activities and getting the most that you can get done possibly when you're in a right state of mind to do it. You know, because, you know, mental health is a real thing for people. You know, I was raised by a mother who was schizophrenic and severely depressed. And dare I say, some of those traits, particularly the depression, especially if you're raised by a parent, it can be mimicked by the child, right? So it's really about getting out of your own head, but also maximizing your activities in the time that you have allotted. But make deadlines and stick to them, you know, and honor them, right? And I think you'll be more productive if you do some of those things, but deadlines work. Sometimes I tell certain friends of mine, I need to get something done. If I don't have a deadline of somebody else involved, it probably won't get done when I need it to get done. So, yeah, that helps too. Sometimes you just got to pull somebody else in to hold you accountable. So accountability is also a key factor into your productivity. Pull somebody else in, hold them accountable. Eventually, they're going to get on your nerves if they keep asking you if you had got it done and your answer is no. So that's something that definitely helps me out too.
Awesome. I definitely agree with all that Mr. Brown has shared with us about the importance of and I love it too, of knowing you. Zoe is really hitting us with some heavy stuff here, and I don't want y'all to miss it. If you know you know your production and where time might be best spent, so to speak.
Yeah.
That, and you hear people might say, oh, I do in the morning, or I have blocked off reading. That's cool. That's great. I'm not saying that. Even accountability. But you have to know you. You have to know that you have tendencies of procrastinate that we all do. But if you know that, then the greats, like Mr. Brown, have enough sense to know, okay, I do have some things. Here we go back to self-assessing, looking at the person in the mirror, as the great Michael Jackson would tell you. You have okay, these are some areas that I got to be real with myself that I need some assistance in. I need some help in that. That's not my forte, but it still has to get done. It has to get done, but it has to get done. But I might not be the person that can handle it by myself. So a man or woman enough to say, okay, let me partner with someone. Let me connect. Let me coach it. Let me get a program. Let me get something that keeps me inside those boundaries that allow for me to benefit from it and have the life that I desire to have. And speaking of life that you desire to have, Mr. Brown, please share with us, with you releasing the book for pre-orders, the whole nine. Could you share with us the changes in your life that you've seen already? Like, whether it be comments from individuals, how it's been inspirational to others and they share that with you, or just you yourself saying, wow, I'm actually getting this done. Could you share that with the audience?
Well, first I want to say to anybody who's watching that purchased the book, thank you. Just so overwhelmed that you pre-ordered something, that haven't even officially materialized yet. And that says a lot, right? It says that you believe in me, that you trust me, you believe in what I'm doing, and that you're eager to see what I have to say to help you out. So I truly thank you from the bottom of my heart. I'm just so overwhelmed by the book sales that I've gotten thus far. Keep them coming in. I have people hit me up like Zoe, where's the book? I'm waiting to see the book. I'm telling them it's gonna come to me, and I'm gonna sign it, and I'll be sending it out to you. So I'm excited about that. But the changes. So this was, if I tell you what type of season I had, you might say, "Dag, that's crazy." So this semester, I taught 8 college classes between 3 different schools, and I finished a book. And I really can't even believe it, to be honest. I don't even understand how I finished the book. I think Darren, he told me about this published in 30 days or less, and I knew I was gonna work with him, and that's that accountability, and it really showed me, wow, okay, what's your next book? That's what I'm thinking about now. What's book number 2 going to be about? So, and 4 years ago, I had people telling me, because that was around the time I went to Presentation Power. I think it was 2013, actually. Yep. Maybe about 5 years ago. I went twice, but the first time I went, that's when I was being encouraged. Oh, write a book, and that's like, okay, but I don't know what I'm gonna write about. There's still some unfinished chapters in my own life. So I didn't feel as though that I was ready to write a book about what I needed to write it about, because I hadn't even experienced it yet. So I ended up leaving my job in 2016, struggled financially. I'll just say that. But even though I struggled financially, I have no unemployment. I just made it by the grace of God. I got some great people in my life that helped me out. But I will say that this has been the happiest times of my life. And I was broke. Like, how are you gonna be happy being broke? You know what I'm saying? And like, I didn't have it like that, you know. But I had people in my life that loved me so much. They made sure that I still maintain a lifestyle that I had when I had money coming in, you know. So any vacations, I love to travel. A lot of people know that about me. That's friends that know I love to travel. So people ask me to travel all the time. And it's like, man, you know, I can't do it like that right now. You know, I'm, you know, I got to make sure I'm maintaining what's over here. And they say, I just asked you to come. I ain't asked you to pay. And I said, wow, like, I like those types of friends. You know, people that's, you know, that still kept me, you know, like, and actually enjoyed my company and felt as though, like, no, you need to go on a vacation. I don't care if you have the money. I got you. Like, don't worry about it. You know, all these other times when you had me and how you helped me out and you did this and did that, it's your time to relax and enjoy somebody blessing you for a change.
Wow.
But I have to say, and another big reason why I left my job when I did is because I take care of my mother. My mother's disabled, and her disability is really more about her becoming older and having a lot of issues and stuff like that, health issues. And I literally had to leave my job so I could be there and kind of just make sure my mother went, like, I went to all her doctor's appointments with her. And by the grace of God, my mother just turned around 100%. She's doing very well, you know, just coherent, clear. Her mobility is so much better. And I know it's because I left my job and I spent that time with her. And, you know, that's all I have. I never met my father. I only have a mother. And, you know, I said, I wouldn't be able to live with myself if I knew that I can do something to help, and I didn't. So I made that sacrifice. But just that this time that I haven't been working, it has built my character so much. Now I'm at a point where I've exceeded my income that I had when I was working full time. And I feel like, well, not I feel like my time spent in working in the office, like, you know, is decreased by so much, right? You know, like I'm home for the most part, or I'm wherever I want to be. I don't have to be where anybody needs me to be. Pretty much, if I have to speak, if I have to lecture, I go do that, and then after that, I'm off. You know, and I just feel like I'm in control of my life. I'm in control of my schedule, where I wasn't before, and that didn't feel good. So I think the struggle was needed. It had to happen for me to write the book, I feel like. And I said, wow, I really have to, it's really on me. I'm not just getting a paycheck every 2 weeks, you know, whether I show up or not. You know, now this is really on me. So so it's definitely built my character. Struggle is so important when it comes to survival and getting stronger. You know, like you going to the gym, you know, lifting weights doesn't necessarily feel good because you don't get the muscles unless you lift the weights.
That's it, Zoe. That's it. You know what? I mean, Zoe is just hitting us today with some fire today. I'm talking about he's hitting us with fire on how to really do it. And this is a story that's organic, just like Whole Foods or Trader Joe. I mean, this story is real. It's authentic. I mean, I'm hearing him saying it, and it's my story. I mean, I'm hearing everything, and I'm thinking about exactly what he was talking about. I just had a conversation about the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
That you got out. Hey, I left it, and I'm not saying what y'all saying. Well, Darren and Zoe told us to leave this and all that. Hey, man, but it was, it was great to see. It was great to see. When my mom had something, they found or not, I was able to carry her to the hospital. You know, and had to take chemo, but she's, you know, healed and well, but nobody had to do that. Went on for over a year and a half or whatnot. And then, you know, even with checkups now, she don't want to drive in some of the areas in the metropolitan area or whatnot in the city. So I drive her there, but I'm just thinking to myself, if I was somewhere else, is what Zoe is sharing, I wouldn't have the luxury. I wouldn't be able to do it because I would say, well, you know, I already done missed 2 minutes these days, and if I do that, there's going to be an occurrence, and if I do that, I won't be able to do vacation. And if I do that, and like I said, this is just everybody have their why. That's my why. Those are things that are priceless. So when I'm hearing those share these type of stories, and I was the same way. I went to Presentation Power. I was, really trying to get it in. I know I wanted to grow, but I was like, man, I done left this job. I'm struggling to pay for the parking every day, and now I bought a sack lunch. But I was meeting people like Zoe Brown.
Yeah.
I was meeting other people who are go-getters that we're connected with, and we all. But like you said, it's that struggle, that pressure makes diamonds. And
Oh
so
yeah.
now you're creating at a different level. Now you're looking at like, oh, wait a minute, what we did what it took me to do a year is being done in a month, or what we don't.
Yeah.
I would have never been able to scale that. That was totally. I look at the place that I was working at, Zoe, and this is being real. This is why this is behind the scenes. I
Yeah.
drive by there, bro, and I'm thinking to myself, my brother, I got a younger brother in the area. He's saying, like, man, if you wouldn't have left, you would have never known that this lifestyle was even possible.
No.
You would have forfeited that. And this is something I'm going to leave us with, too, as we move on and get information about Zoe. They come from Bishop T.D. Jakes, and this is one of my favorite quotes. Most people acquiesce to known hells, forfeiting unknown heavens.
Woo! Yeah.
Goodness.
Some people are comfortable. You have to understand, some people are comfortable in chaos because it's familiar, right?
Mm-hmm.
And when something is familiar to you and you're comfortable, you might not even know that, like, you're in a negative spot. Like, some people seek out opportunities to get involved in chaos just because that's what they're used to.
That's right.
Right? And they don't know that they can be any better because they think for them that doesn't even apply. And that's wow. It's incredible.
Wow, man. And like I said, I thank you for sharing this. With you sharing a lot of information. Please share with our audience, man, before we get off on here, man. I know the time went by fast for you guys. You got to connect with him off air. Please, share websites, where they can purchase the book, how they can benefit from your services, events that you have going on, whatever you want to share, brother. Please. Any handles on social media, share it at this time if you don't mind, please, sir.
Okay, so you can purchase the book. The name of the book is called From No to Go. There is no GPS for your journey to success. And you can get the book at www.fromno2go.com, www.fromno2go.com. If you want to contact me for services, I do coaching and consulting. Right now, I'm a college professor. I work in the field of social work and sociology, and I do professional development for social workers, social service workers, teachers, counselors, anybody who's in a helping profession, and I'm not saying all of you quit your jobs and become entrepreneurs, because for some of you, success is in your job. Like, you aspire to be a supervisor, and, my thing is, I'm trying to make you understand your journey to success, wherever that needs to be for you. Right. But some of you people who work in these so-called lower paying professions, hit me up. Zoe at zoebrownspeaks.com. That's Z-O at zoebrownspeaks.com. You can hit my website up, check that out, www.zoebrownspeaks.com. I just want to let you all know you are gifted, you are talented. Your role in this world is essential. People would not be able to get by if it wasn't for counselors and teachers and social workers and those people who come and give you that support and helping hand. You will never be without a job, but don't depend on your job to take care of everything, though, right? Especially if you find yourself in a position or a period where you're unhappy, you're doing a whole lot of complaining, and you feel like things are just being taken away from you. How y'all doing? Yeah, he's nice. So don't ever think that your skills are not valuable. Your skills are completely valuable. And that's what I help people do. I help that with my clients and my students. So hit me up, zoebrownspeakers.com.
Hey, you heard it here. We're going to make sure we have that information in the show notes. So those of you who weren't able to write it down fast enough or thought you missed out on something, we got your back like a chiropractor. So we're going to make sure to take you care of. And so, hey, I just want to thank you, Mr. Brown, so much for taking time out of your schedule. We want to apologize to your dog for keeping you too long, but we thank you so much for blessing us with this great weather that you have in the New Jersey area, man. I can't wait to get up there with you, man, coming up soon, man, and so we can celebrate and have a good time. It'll be a few dates that I'll be up there with you this year as well. So I'm excited about it, man. I just want to thank you again for blessing us with your time, sir.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I'll definitely be talking to you soon.
All right,
Everybody,
my
love
man.
all
All right.
y'all. Thank you so much
All
for
right.
listening
Y'all
to
have a
me.
good one. Until next time, remember that we want to see you sitting across us. We want to see you be a part of the Artists Club. We want to see you making a difference locally and globally like our man, Zoe Brown. So until next time, be great and be blessed.